Okay, in this video, we're going to look at solving with numbers in the denominator. So I wrote down basically the steps to do this. So anytime you see a number in the denominator, this is what you do first. So just like the previous times when you're solving equations, find the side of the equation that has the variable. In this case, it'd be the right side. And then take any constant that's being added or subtracted and add the opposites of that constant to both sides of the equation. So 2 is my constant. The opposite of 2 is -2, so I'm going to add -2 to both sides. Okay, and the reason why we want to do that is because we want to make this constant equal to 0. So 2 plus -2 becomes 0, which leaves us with just a over 4. 6 plus -2 is 4, and that equals a over 4. Okay, so now we're here. You've got two options. You could either rewrite a over 4 as a rational coefficient, or you could get rid of the denominator by simply multiplying by whatever's in the denominator on both sides of the equation. So I'll show you both. So if we're going to go the rational coefficient way, then you would say 4 equals, and a over 4 is the same thing as 1/4 a. You can do that. And then we saw in the rational coefficient video that you could solve by multiplying by the reciprocal of 1/4, which is 4. And 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So you get 4 over 4a equals 4 times 4 is 16 over 1. Okay, so then you would get 16 equals, after we simplify, 4 over 4 is 1a, or just a. So that should be our solution. Now, that's something we looked at in a previous video. Let's see what it looks like using the second option, which is to multiply by the denominator on both sides of the equation to get rid of the denominator. So we could do this. Here's our option 2. And this might actually be easier. If 4 equals a over 4, and I want to get rid of that 4 in the denominator, I'm just going to multiply by 4 on both sides. Check this out. 4 times 4 is 60. And a times 4 is 4a over 4, because this over 4 is right there. And now we simplify. 4 over 4 is 1, and 1a is the same thing as a, so I get the same solution. Now, don't forget to do the fourth part, which is check your solution. And I will do this over here. So I'm going to go back to the original equation. 6 equals a over 4. It's an a plus 2. And we said a is equal to 16, so let's plug that in. And if we take 16 divided by 4 plus 2, does that equal 6? Order of operations, 16 divided by 4 is 4. 6 equals, does that equal 4 plus 2? And you can see 6 equals 6. So 16 equals a is in fact the correct solution. Let's look at a couple of examples here. So on number 1, if we have -6 equals, hang on, that's supposed to be, let me fix that, a plus sign, -6 plus x over 4 equals -5. All right, so I'm going to find the constant, which is -6. I'm going to add the opposite of -6 to both sides, which is +6. That becomes 0. I'm left with x over 4 equals, now -5 plus 6 is 1. And I'm going to go option 2. I want to get rid of that denominator, so I'm going to multiply both sides by the denominator. I get 4x over 4 equals 1 times 4 is 4. Simplify, 4 over 4 equals 1x, or just x. So there's our solution, and let's check really quickly, make sure this is correct. So if we have -6 plus x over 4, does that equal -5 when x is 4? So let's see, -6 plus 4 over 4, does that equal -5? Well, 4 over 4, we'd have to do that division first, that's just 1. So negative 6 plus 1, does that equal negative 5? And yes, it does. So that is our solution, x equals 4. All right, let's look at number 2. Negative 4 equals r divided by 20 minus 5. So I'm going to find that constant first. And the constant is that minus 5. I'm going to add the opposite of negative 5 to both sides, which is positive 5. Negative 5 plus 5 becomes 0, so that cancels. Negative 4 plus 5 becomes 1, so I have 1 equals r divided by 20. And I'm going to multiply by my denominator on both sides. My denominator is 20, so times 20 times 20. 20 equals 20r over 20. I can divide. 20 divided by 20 is 1. And 1r is just r. So I think there's our solution, but let's check just to make sure. When we plug in r over 20 minus 5, do we get negative 4? So negative 4 equals 20 divided by 20 minus 5. So we have to do the division first. 20 divided by 20 is 1. Does negative 4 equal 1 minus 5? Now remember, this 5 is negative. So yes, we get the same thing. Negative 4 equals negative 4. So that tells us that r equals 20 is our solution. Okay, let's look at another couple examples. So in this one, negative 2 equals 2 plus w divided by 4. Here's my constant 2. I'm going to add the opposite of 2, which is negative 2. Okay, and negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. 2 plus negative 2 is 0. So we're left with w divided by 4. Now, in my denominator is 4. So I want to multiply both sides by 4. And let's do this multiplication. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. 4 times w over 4 is 4w over 4. This becomes 4 divided by 4, which is 1w, or just w. And so we get the solution w equals negative 16. Let's go ahead, and check that. Negative 2 equals 2 plus w over 4. All right, let's check. When I plug in negative 16 for w, do I get negative 2? So negative 16 divided by 4, I have to do this division first. Negative 2 equals 2. Well, this becomes, let's see, negative 4. And 2 plus negative 4, is that negative 2? It is. So that tells me this is the correct solution. All right, last example. 8 plus x divided by negative 4 equals 5. 8 is my constant, so I'm going to add the opposite of 8, which is negative 8, to both sides. 8 plus negative 8 becomes 0. I'm left with x over negative 4 on the left side of my equation. 5 plus negative 8 is negative 3. So I'm here. Negative 4 is my denominator. Now be careful. Make sure you multiply by the negative 4 and not just by 4. So I get this. Negative 4x over negative 4 equals negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is positive 1x, or just x, and that equals 12. Last thing we need to do is check, make sure the solution is correct. So 8 plus x over negative 4 equals 5. When I plug in 12 for x, do I get 5 is my solution on the left side of my equation. So do this division first. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. And 8 plus negative 3, does that equal 5? Yes, it does. So x equals 12 is the correct solution.